Hello, everybody. This is Zach's at it again. I'm your host, Zach Cooley, and it's a pleasure to be here with Larry Sharitz today. He is the owner of Burger Haven, Downtown Wytheville's newest business, but it's not really Wytheville's newest business because it has been a staple in Wytheville history for decades. Larry, thank you for being on the phone with me today.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here.
I had the pleasure of having dinner at Burger Haven for the first time on December 21st. We came out on a very cold night to see a Millwall show, and we stopped in to have a burger there, and we really, really enjoyed it. And when my mama came in from Myrtle Beach, we ordered burgers in from you all, and we had a meal with them, which was very nice because my mother remembers a very different Burger Haven than the one you have now. She remembers the original Burger Haven. So, do you want to talk a little bit about the history of Burger Haven and how we got to where we are today?
It was started back in the early 60s by Harold and Ruby Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
Operated up to somewhere around 1984. He sold it. Harold decided to retire. Ruby worked for me probably 3 or 4 years. And she stayed on with me and taught me a lot. In 1989, I closed it till now.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a lot all through the years. A lot of people asked me when I was going to open back up, and time worked out right. I found a good location where I'm at, and that's pretty much how it got started back up.
So, 84 to 89, it was yours
Yes.
in the original location, and we're talking about where the old Leisure Time Video used to be.
Yes.
Is that where it
Yes.
was? Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
Because you could see the old buildings with the A-shaped roofs on them. You know, very similar to the Tasty Freeze. Now, the Tasty Freeze in Wytheville, was that where Sonic is now?
Oh, Tasty Freeze was down on the lower lot of the Ford place.
Oh, okay.
It was there also. Started back in the early 60s, and I think it finally closed down somewhere around 85, 86.
Mm-hmm. Now, Burger Haven is not the only business that you own. You also own Burger Express in Fort Chiswell, is that right?
Yes. Yes, I owned it, and up to in October we had a fire, and it kind of pretty much was a total loss.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It was a devastating fire. It was. No one was hurt in that fire, thank goodness. It was. Was it mechanical, or what was the reason for the fire?
Uh, don't know. The insurance sent in their own investigator, and his conclusion was he couldn't determine what started the fire. I do know it was started in the back end of the building, because that's where the most damage is. As farther you go up towards the front of the building, was the less damage.
Okay.
Well, yes, it happened around
Oh.
lunchtime that day, and actually the building was full of people.
Oh.
It was everybody got out. Okay, my manager called me at the time and said they smelt smoke, and I told them to, get everybody out of the building, and they got out okay.
Well, that is good to hear. I did not know it was full of people. So that was a more of a major deal than I had thought. How long had you owned it up to that point?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah, we had just got through remodeling and
Oh my goodness.
and installed quite a bit new equipment, and it was just getting to where it was really rolling along pretty good. We really had a good business. I really hate it for the people in the Fort Chisholm area, which I've had good response. A lot of them are coming to Burger Haven, so
Right.
That way they pretty much get the same food that they was getting there.
Right. Well, the reason I brought up Burger Express was because it was the Tasty Freeze at Fort Chisholm, correct? Originally.
Yes. It was also started in around 1960 by Miss Rose. She started the Tasty Freeze.
Miss Rose.
Rose, R-O-S-E, Miss Rose.
Okay, I don't know who that is, so I just,
yeah.
Okay, so that I know was one of my mother's favorite places to hang out. She was born and raised in Piney, and she spent a lot of time and a lot of money and ate a lot of food at both the different incarnations of the Fort Chisholm Burger Express and Burger Haven. So she's been a loyal customer of yours for years and years. So the type of food that you serve now, the hamburgers and the type of hamburgers and the type of hot dogs you have, that's the same kind of burgers we would eat if we ate at Burger Express.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes. I'm keeping it, pretty much simple. We just have the basic hot dogs and fries. Pretty much everything we had at Burger Express is pretty much we have at Burger Haven. The ice cream exception at Burger Haven, we have 24 flavors of ice cream,
which is formerly Frozen in Time.
Yes.
Which was owned by a very nice lady named Miss Sharon Gallimore. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk a little bit about that, because you acquired that from Sharon. And at first, she was still operating the ice cream part in your building, unless I have something misconstrued, which is quite possible. She was in her shop in Tazewell Street, and then she moved in to where you now are on Main Street, and she was working it there for a while, but then you acquired that business from her recently. Am I correct in that?
Yes.
Okay.
I bought it back in the summer. when she was still on Tazewell Street. When I
Okay.
bought it, my intentions was to open up Burger Haven and combine the two business together.
Mm-hmm.
That current location was just entirely too small, so that's the reason I went to Main Street.
Right. Oh, okay. You had that place in mind originally, and then you decided to move to Main Street. I see. Okay. So, one of the things that you've kept on, or one of the people that you have kept on, other than the flavors for Frozen in Time, has been a young gentleman who just kind of brightens your day whenever you are in his presence, Mr. Grady Rosenbaum. Grady worked for Sharon when she had Frozen in Time, and I believe he did some of the designing for the menu for you, did he not?
Yes, he did,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to continue doing other things with the menus, especially on the ice cream side and the food side. He's very talented of doing that. So we're going to be doing some different things all through the year, and really this summer we'll really push the ice cream part to where it features itself.
Now let me ask you about a few of these things, because I had the Swiss burger. I just happen to prefer Swiss cheese over American, so I enjoyed that. That I wasn't the 609 burger. Can you explain what that is?
Okay, it originated from Burger Express. When I bought it,
Okay.
that was one of the burgers that they had. It's been a real good seller for us up here,
Mm-hmm.
and we got another one that Burger Haven was well known for back in the originally started in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Is a sauce burger,
Okay.
and it's a large hamburger patty with a special red sauce that we make ourselves, and
A secret sauce, is it?
it is,
Okay.
and it's starting to be a big seller, especially with the older clientele that we have, that they know what the sauce burger is.
Exactly.
Now the younger people, they don't know, because it's kind of, they wasn't even born at the time when I closed it, so
Right.
it kind of, but we still have some try it, and they like it.
Okay. So tell me about the 609 burger. What is that?
The 609 is a double cheeseburger
Okay.
with mushrooms on it, and put two big rings of the onion rings
Onion
that we
rings.
have.
Okay. All right. How about the Pioneer burger?
The Pioneer burger, well, it's actually I changed it to it was originally from Fort Chisel because of the
Right.
Pioneer.
The Pioneers. Right.
And well, since then I've changed it to the Maroon burger.
Right.
I didn't want to fight, so
Right.
I thought I better change it to a Maroon burger. It's basically a double burger with you can get anything on it, and it gets barbecue sauce.
Okay. So that's no different than a Pioneer burger. So
That's right.
The only thing different is the name.
Is the name, yes.
So now there are a lot of us that love nostalgia, and people who say, well, things don't taste like they did years ago. So when we're eating a burger today at Burger Haven, how close are we to eating one that we might have been eating back in 1984?
Well, of course, like you said, things change, ingredients change,
Mm-hmm.
But surprisingly, a lot of the older people that is familiar with Burger Haven, they've remarked to me after they've ate and said it tastes just like it did when they ate it, back in the 80s and 90s and 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think far as the meat-wise has changed, or even the bread part has changed. It's pretty close.
Yeah, what's the biggest ingredient change you have versus the 80s? If you want to say, maybe you don't want to say. And that's all right.
I really, of course, everything you get on them is, the tomatoes, onions,
right.
Ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise. All of that's pretty much the same. The bread is pretty much baked the same. The burgers, it's about as best as quality that I can buy. So I really don't think there's really any difference in far as ingredients.
Yeah, just might have been able to get a little bit more meat for the money that you spent back then than you would now, I would say.
Yes, yeah.
Because the American dollar certainly has fizzled out even in the last few years.
Yes.
But I was born the year after you opened Burger Haven. I was born in 1985. And my mother loves a good burger joint that's not, your average, well, let's run through the drive-thru and get a burger that's filled with all kinds of preservatives and all that.
Yes.
So we, one of my favorite out-of-town burger places is like Pal's. And that was a locally owned company that started, and we enjoy getting burgers from them. And it's nice to have a place here in Wytheville where you can get, because I'll turn to my wife sometimes because I'm very, very carnivorous. And I will turn to her and say, I'd like to have a good cheeseburger. And she knows what I mean when I say a good cheeseburger. I mean a good homemade cheeseburger. Not something not Wendy's, not McDonald's, not something off a fast food chain. And there really was no place to get the kind of cheeseburger I was talking about. And you offer a lot of things that you don't get other places, like hot fudge cakes and potato wedges and mozzarella sticks and then things like that.
Jalapeno poppers and breaded mushrooms.
And
we got different things like that.
And waffle fries.
We got waffle fries, potato wedges. Of course, tater tots is a big seller, and onion rings is a big seller.
And I had the potato wedges. They're very good.
Yeah.
Are your hot dogs, are they beef dogs, or... Because I'm not having.
Yes.
Okay. Because that's a differentiation. I know Wytheville's probably going to kick me out, but I do not like Skeeter dogs because they're the red dyed hot dogs.
Yeah.
And I don't care for that. I'm very
Yeah.
particular about my hot dogs. They've got to be beef. So if your hot dogs are beef, and I know Skeeter's does offer a beef option, but beef dogs are my preference if I'm going to have a hot dog. So
Yeah.
glad to know that they're beef. That's important for me. So as far as Burger Express, any plans of reopening, or is that just kind of gone by the
Well,
wayside?
it's at the moment. I don't think I will.
Okay.
Just the I've got the estimates in on a new building and everything, and it's just the cost is so great that it's just not economical for me to do that.
Yeah, and it wouldn't prove to be beneficial if you're not going to come out in the black.
Yeah. Well, I'm 71 years old.
Right.
And I just I just can't see you know making anything out of it. I mean,
Right.
I like I say, I really hate it for the people in the area. I
Yeah.
hope a lot of them will continue coming to Burger Haven. But I really apologize to everybody, in that area.
Well, it must have been devastating for you. I mean, you had a good business coming. That's always been a good business. There's many incarnations. There was dough babies, and and that was a very frequented spot. And to just have remodeled and updated the system for that business, that must have been devastating for you. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It was like I say, I had a big investment in it, and when I bought it, I knowed. Of course, when I bought Burger Express, it wasn't even in my mind to open Burger Haven. So
Right.
I put all my sources in Burger Express, and it really did. It went from what it was doing when I bought it to pretty much doubling the sales, within a year's time, and it was just very discouraging.
I'm sure.
For it to happen.
So, with Burger Haven opening up at the time that it did, was that a relief for you or an added stress, or both?
Well, it was a stress, I tell you, at the beginning. And there too, I want to take time to apologize to a lot of my customers. When we first opened, it was so overwhelming. People, and we didn't even advertise. It just word of mouth got out that when we opened, we was just so slammed from time we opened to the time we closed. And I know a lot of people got upset. We got, of course, I had about 5 employees that hadn't never worked in the food part, and
Right.
we just I just know we had a lot of people upset because they either got their food wrong or it took so long to get their food, and I really apologize to those people. I continue trying to make it right, and we're continuing improving in our business. We're just now starting to people get trained good, and of course we still we still have some little hiccups, but
Sure.
we're trying our best to do the best.
Are you pleased with the business of Burger Haven since it opened?
I am. I had some people tell me when I was talking about doing it that, oh, why are you going in that place right on Main Street? There's no parking. You'll never, people won't find a place to park. I'm sure that at times it's like that, but I also had the same people come and tell me that they was surprised that they didn't have no trouble finding parking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, in my situation, I have the big van and I'm wheelchair bound, so I have to have space for a lift. So the key for me is to get one of those handicapped spaces at the corner. But you've got one right in front of Burger Haven. So if I can get that one, I'm in good shape anytime I want to come because it's right in front of the door. So I lucked out there. But you said something interesting a while ago. You're 71 years old. You invested all you had into Burger Express, and it ends up being a total loss through fire. What made you decide at this stage in your life to bring back Burger Haven?
Well, of course, I've been working on Burger Haven for the past 8 months.
Okay.
It started back in the summer when I was still operating Burger Express.
Right.
My intentions was to have 2 operations.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, 2 different names, but the same operation. That was my intentions, and to try to get better pricing in my product. I'd be instead of buying for 1, I'd be buying for 2. And each location would help each other as far as anyone would have shortages, they could borrow from the other. So it really started 8 months ago, and it took me quite a while to get the building done. I have another company. It's called Home and Commercial Property Maintenance. We do remodeling and everything, and my guy's done the build out on the space, and it took a little extra time to do that.
Sure. So I guess even though it was very stressful with the loss of Burger Express, I'm sure now that Burger Haven has been a blessing for you in some ways, has it not?
Yes. One thing, when Burger Express, had the loss, I brought biggest part of my employees there up here. So that's one good thing about it. Opening Burger Haven is I brought my employees from Burger Express, so at least they're not out of a job.
Right. And Wythe County is grateful to you for all you've done. Wytheville is grateful to you for all you've done, and I certainly will be a regular customer. My family will be, and we just enjoyed it, and we look forward to coming back and back. I want to make mention of the wonderful decor that you have. My favorite era is the 50s, and I love the paintings on the wall, and you have the malt shop oldies playing, which you don't hear anymore, and the ambiance of the place just really, really nice too, and I wanted to mention that. But I thank you for talking with me, Larry.
Yes, sir, and thank you.